Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast NFL Edition. We are back. We have the producer with us, Justin Akindele. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. It's a good Saturday. I was just watching my current favorite college football team, the Indiana Hoosiers, putting a whooping on the Michigan State right now.
How bad are they up?
It was 24-0 last time I checked in the third quarter.
Wow. And that is the team that Michigan State beat Michigan, and then now they're boy. That's rough. That's rough. But we're here to talk some NFL with you guys today. We're going to be talking about the Thursday night game that just happened, some big games, the Cardinals versus the Bills, the Seahawks versus the Rams, the Ravens versus the Patriots. Justin's always going to drop some betting knowledge. We're going to go over mid-season MVPs and rookies of the year. And let's start with the Thursday night game. AFC South showdown between the Colts and the Titans. And surprising to me, the Colts came out on top. Justin, did you bet money on this game, or how did you see this game?
I did bet on this game. I took the Titans. They were a home underdog, Titans +1. And I love home underdogs. And I thought the Titans had the edge at quarterback specifically. So that's where I was going. And I was wrong. The special teams in the third quarter absolutely shit the bed. The Titans didn't score after halftime. It was just an ugly second half for the Titans. And they lost me some money.
So now with the Colts winning, surprising, they're 6-3 as well as the Tennessee Titans. So they're both atop of the AFC South. Right now, do the Colts have the tiebreaker now?
The Colts will have the tiebreaker. That was the first time they played, and they have the same record. So, yes, they currently have the tiebreaker.
And for a team that's 6-3, I feel like the Colts have been underneath the radar a bit. I know we've talked a lot about their defense because they got a top defense, but I didn't see them being a 6-3 team just flying underneath the radar like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, last year I think they were 8-8 last year with Jacoby Brissett, and they still have most of those same components. They still have a great offensive line. The defense is really good, and Phillip Rivers was supposed to pull him over the top, even though I don't think he's very good. He's very turnover prone, in my opinion. But yeah, he got him at 6-3 right now. So on Thursday he was 29 for 39 for 308 yards. So he was carving up the Titans. So I guess he might be the answer for him.
Phillip Rivers, he's only on a 2-year deal, right? Or is it a 1 year?
I think it's a 1-year deal, if I believe. I don't know what deal he's on, but they at least have him for the rest of this year, that's for sure.
Yeah. So with him being on a 1-year deal, I know you've given some spicy trade options on our podcast in the past. How about the Colts go get Sam Darnold this offseason?
I think that will be a great pickup for them. I know Sam Darnold could definitely do some things in that offense because watching the game on Thursday, watching Phillip Rivers, he was so comfortable. Like Titans weren't really getting any pressure on him. They only sacked him one time, so they weren't getting any pressure on him. So a more athletic, younger quarterback with a better throwing motion can definitely do some things for Titans. I actually like that. I don't know what they would give up for him, but yeah, Sam Darnold on that team. Sam Darnold could definitely lead that team and make them. He might be able to take them over the edge, if you ask me, honestly.
I would just guess, how much did the Cardinals give up when they traded Rosen? Did they only get like a third-round pick in return, or?
I think Josh Rosen was. I think they dealt him for a second-round pick.
So maybe that might be all it takes for Sam, because if the Jets, as of right now, would have the number 1 pick and they're going to get Trevor, might as well just get another pick to complement Trevor Lawrence, and then you ship off Sam so you don't have any QB controversy. And Sam on the Colts, next 10 years, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold just needs a good situation. And if he's with the Colts they have a decent ownership, they have a good coach. Like I said, Frank Wright was the man leading the offense for the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl. So we see Carson Wentz now without Frank Wright. So
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
you get him with Sam Darnold. Shit, sky's the limit.
yeah. Because with the team they have now, and since we had our technical difficulties, this being take two, I really thought about the Colts team. I was like, oh, if they can get a young quarterback on the market for the next 10 years, they might be set again. And Sam Darnold is I think, the top young quarterback that could be on the move going this offseason. So get him on the Colts, and that could be a perennial AFC team.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets are going to get the first pick, and they're going to get Trevor Lawrence. So Sam Darnold's definitely going to be on the open market next year. So I feel like people are going to probably throw a lot at the Jets for that. Then it's a good situation. The Jets are going to have Trevor Lawrence. They're going to get a pretty good pick for Sam Darnold, and then you're off to the races with your rebuild. A good rebuild. Some they can sink their teeth in like, yeah, we got something. Might have to get rid of Adam Gase, but I think the Jets are in a good spot right now, even though they suck. There's hope for them.
Who wins the division, the Titans or the Colts?
That is tough. I think I might be leaning Indianapolis at this point. The Titans and Colts do play again in 2 weeks, so we gotta see how that game goes. But the Colts have a slightly easier schedule than the Titans coming up. The Colts have Green Bay next week, Tennessee in 2 weeks, Houston at Las Vegas, Houston again, Pittsburgh at home, and then Jacksonville. And then the Titans they're at Baltimore next week, then the Colts, then Cleveland, then Jacksonville, Detroit, Green Bay, and Houston. So I think the Colts have an easier schedule. But if the Titans win against the Colts in 2 weeks, then the Titans are back in play for that division, obviously.
That's going to be a tight race in the AFC South. We're definitely going to have to keep our eyes on that. Now let's talk about some big games going into this weekend. The Cardinals versus the Bills. You did have to educate me that not only are the Cardinals well into a potential playoff spot, but they are well into potentially winning their division, which no one expected at the beginning of the year. So now they're playing a very good Bills team. And Justin, just talk about how the Cardinals are exceeding expectations, especially Kyler Murray in year 2 of him being in the NFL, and obviously Cliff Kingsbury, who a lot of people didn't even think he deserved the job, but now it's looking like those two really have that team clicking, and obviously getting DeAndre Hopkins helps.
Yeah, I gotta give major props to the Arizona Cardinals and Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, they're doing an awesome job right now. Kyler Murray's absolutely killing it. He's a dark horse for the MVP. He might be the MVP if he somehow squeaks out winning this division. Kyler Murray right now, 70% completion percentage, 2,050 passing yards, 16 touchdowns, 7 picks. But here, the rushing yards are crazy. So at this point in the season, comparing Lamar Jackson's MVP season last year and Kyler Murray right now, Kyler Murray's rushing stats are better than Lamar Jackson's stats. Actually, not even rushing, just overall stats are on pace to beat Lamar's MVP season last year. He has
Whoa. Say that again, please.
Kyler Murray's pace right now is better than Lamar Jackson's MVP season last year.
Wow. That is absurd, and no one has him right now in the top 3 for MVP.
Yeah, man. He is absolutely on fire right now. Football Outsiders have the Cardinals with the 9th rated offense, and their defense is surprisingly a top 10 Football Outsiders defense at 10. So they're playing good defense too. I didn't know about Buda Baker until a couple weeks ago, and when we played the Cowboys Monday night, but he was all over the field that game. They have a great defense. Patrick Pearson's still out there locking dudes up. The Cardinals are a scary team right now, and you gotta watch out for them in the NFC.
Wow, and they're going against a tough Bills team. Like, who do you have in this game?
I do have the Cardinals winning this game. Buffalo is coming off their 2 biggest wins of the season. 2 weeks ago against the Patriots, they won that game late in that game after Cam Newton fumbled driving for the game winner. And then they absolutely beat down the Seahawks last week. Josh Allen throwing all over the field, had over 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. So he was He's on fire. So yeah, the Bills pose a threat offensively. I'm a little worried about them defensively, how they're gonna handle Kyler Murray in that offense. They do have DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk has been lighting up recently. So we're going to have to see. But I like the Cardinals winning this game. Like I said, Bills are coming all the way out to their place to play.
And speaking of the Cardinals division, we got the Seahawks and the Rams going at it. You talked about how Buffalo just shellacked Seattle, who at the time before the game, Russell Wilson was the MVP frontrunner. A lot of people think not so much after that. And you got a Rams team that I think's pretty good, but then they're not. I don't think of them as a top NFC team. So when you're looking at this game, one, who needs this game more? Who's going to win this game? And how much does this affect the division?
Who needs the game more? I definitely think the Seahawks need the game more. They're the front runner in that division, going, what was it, like 7-0. So they were the front runner in that division. They already have a loss against the Cardinals, and they play the Cardinals on Thursday Night Football next week. So that's going to be a great Thursday night game.
They play the Rams Sunday, then the Cardinals.
Yes.
Thursday. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the Cardinals already have a win on them. So Seahawks might be looking ahead maybe, but the Rams, their only wins this season are against the NFC East and then the Chicago Bears. So I'm a little skeptical of picking them right now. They do have a good defense, but like I said, they play those NFC East teams within the anemic Chicago Bears offense. So I don't know how good their defense is, but I think they're going to be able to put some points on the Seahawks like everyone has been able to, because Jared Goff is a pretty good quarterback when he doesn't have pressure. He doesn't have pressure in his face. He can scan the field. They get that running game going. They get the play option off of it. And they look like a good team. But I think since the Seahawks need this more, they got whooped up on last week. I think the Seahawks are going to win the game, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be a good divisional matchup.
Oh, man. That is... Any of these primetime games that the rest of the public can see, or are these the regional games?
I think that Seahawks-Rams game is... I think most of the country's going to get that game. Because I know in Cincinnati, we got the Bengals and the Steelers at 425. So I think most of the country's going to be watching that Seahawks-Rams game.
Okay. Next game we had on our agenda is the Raven and Patriots game. And I think a lot of people will be confused of why we're talking about this game, because the Patriots aren't the Patriots of old, because right now they're not good. They're 3-5. Their offense is terrible. Most of their defense didn't even decide to play this year because of COVID. And their quarterback, Cam Newton, who at the beginning of the year, we were like, oh, he might still have it. And then he got COVID, came back. And his stats have not been good since coming back. Justin, you want to talk more about Cam Newton's stats as a Patriots and what they're really looking like right now?
Yeah, the Patriots don't look good right now. These stats for Cam Newton are going to look kind of startling. He's 68% completion percent, not bad. They don't have really a deep threat or nothing, so they're a deep and dunk, so that's going to be high. 1,417 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. And we're in week 10, so you only have 2 passing touchdowns in week 10. That's a little odd. 7 interceptions. But he does have 314 rushing rounds and 8 rushing touchdowns. He is the best goal line quarterback of all time. But yeah, it's just not looking good. The Patriots, I mean, I think Bill Belichick is trying to. This is Colin Cowherd's take. I think they're trying to secretly tank by letting all those players opt out, not really addressing their needs on the outside on offense, and it really is putting Cam in an awful position for his new job.
So what would you get for secretly tanking? Because right now they're 3-5. I still think they're going to win some games this year. So what are they trying to get in the draft?
Maybe a high enough pick in the top 10, maybe, so they might be able to package that into moving up and getting a first pick. That's what I'm thinking, because this team needs a quarterback. Like, they are in quarterback purgatory right now. And then the rest of the team, they need wide receivers. They need a quarterback and wide receivers. And I think the Patriots are going to turn it around because you did mention that all those defensive players opted out. So the defense is probably going to be better next year. But their offense is an absolute problem right now. Tom Brady's probably sitting in Tampa just laughing at him.
Is he really, though, after last
Sunday? We'll talk about that later when we get to the bets. But yeah. Yeah.
So the reason I think this is an important game, not for the Patriots side, but it's for the Ravens side. I mean, the past couple of weeks, their offense has not looked as explosive as we are accustomed to seeing in the Lamar Jackson era. Their offense, rushing-wise, is still number one in the league, if I remember, but their passing is second to last. And they need this game to get on track. This is the Sunday night game as of recording. I don't think they're going to flex it out for anything right now. But what do the Ravens need to do in this game to get themselves on track? Because I'm looking at the AFC. I'm looking at, obviously, the Chiefs are at the top. The Steelers, when they got Big Ben back, they still haven't lost a game. And that defense looks like no joke. You got teams like the Bills. You got teams like the Colts. There's some teams in the AFC that, if the Ravens aren't careful, they might get left behind.
Yeah, the Ravens. So for the rest of the year, the Ravens are going to be fine. But it's just that playoffs. They didn't get their offense. They didn't get their passing game going, working. So in the playoffs, they can keep up with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs. But a couple weeks ago, when they did play the Pittsburgh Steelers, they were outplaying in that game. They do have one of the best defenses in the league, number one in points allowed, all that good stuff. They turn the ball over and score. So they just need to find a way to get Lamar Jackson to get some outside passes, keep running the ball, keep playing good defense, and hopefully that can get you far. Hopefully that can get you far enough to where you need to be, and hopefully that defense can slow down some of these more high-powered offenses. But they're going to be fine. I mean, after this game, the schedule really lightens up. They only play only three contenders left. I mean, they play Tennessee next week, Pittsburgh Thanksgiving, Dallas in between, then at Cleveland. Then they finish off the season with Jacksonville, the Giants, and the Bengals. So I think if they can get past this 3-week stretch at about 2-1, and then get to the back end of their season, they'll be fine. They'll get into the playoffs and they'll be cool there. And then they just gotta figure out how they're going to be able to run the ball and get their play action type of game on those better teams and keep up scoring with them.
So you said with them in the playoffs that you're a fan of Lamar Jackson. I'm a fan of Lamar Jackson. Obviously, Chelsea, who just recently did a podcast and did the Women in Sports one, she's a fan of Lamar Jackson because she was tutoring the Louisville football team while he was there during his Heisman run. So she's obviously a fan of his. If they go to the playoffs and he doesn't win a game and he's 0-3, what does that do to the panic meter for, can this guy, before he gets labeled, can't win in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta remember he owns these regular seasons. I mean, since he's been playing, he's been killing in the regular season. But yeah, these if he doesn't win another game in the playoffs, if he goes one and done, if he goes one and done in the playoffs, then yeah, we're going to have to talk about it. But Lamar Jackson has proven that he progressively gets better over all seasons. COVID probably messed his offseason up, but he takes the criticism and he tries to work on his game and he tries to fix the problems that are in his game. So I think he's going to be fine. Maybe the Ravens can get him some more outside weapons. That might help him out a little bit. But they also are missing their Pro Bowl just got paid left tackle Ryan Stanley. So that might be hurting the offense just a little bit too. But like I said, they still have a great defense, and that defense can take them some places, and they have an easy schedule. So hopefully they can get this win against the Patriots and get them on track a little bit better. And they did play great in the second half against the Colts last week too. So we gotta remember we can't overreact too much about the Ravens.
That's true, but you know what will happen if they lose to the Patriots on Sunday.
He absolutely can't lose to the Patriots on Sunday. I don't think it's going to happen, but he cannot lose that game. Absolutely not. No.
because we will have some overreacting from the media. But let's get to happier things. Justin, what are the bets this week? How can we let's make some money for our valued listeners? What are some top bets you got?
Man, thank God we didn't have a podcast last week because I would have lost y'all some money because I did not do well. It was bad. It was not a good week last week. But first bet I'm going to give y'all this week is I like the New York Giants to cover their spread over the Philadelphia Eagles. They're getting 3.5 points. If you bet it now, I think they're getting 4. And I really like the Giants here. I know the Eagles are getting a couple of their linemen who are injured back. I know Miles Sanders is coming back, but when the Giants played them Thursday night a few weeks back, they played them real tough. It took Carson Wentz throwing that dime in the back of the end zone of Boston Scott, the 5'6" running back. It took everything the Eagles had to beat the Giants, and I kind of see it looking like that again. And 3.5 points is a great number to get the Giants over the Eagles in this game.
Okay. All right, you heard him. What's some other money? We need some money out there.
Back over to the New Orleans Saints, our captain's favorite team. Hey. I like the 49ers getting 10 points over the New Orleans Saints. I know the whole world got to see the Saints Sunday night, but that is not the real New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay came out flat. I really don't know why they were so flat, but that game was over within the first 5 minutes of the game. And when was the last time you saw the Saints do that? It's been years since that happened. That is not the real Saints. I think the 49ers are going to come out a lot tougher. Kyle Shanahan has a hard-nosed running game. I know Jimmy Garoppolo's out, but shit, you're really not getting much of a drop off from Jimmy Garoppolo and Nick Mullins anyway. And I think the Saints are going to naturally let down from getting that huge win against Tampa Bay last week. So I like the 49ers here. And 10 points is a lot of points. So
I want to stick with the Saints real quick because I guess their two best defensive games this year have been against the Buccaneers, though. The first game of the season, and then this past game where they picked off Tom Brady 5 times. So maybe they feel disrespected that people like you just wrote them off and they won't win the NFC South. Or when they play against the Bucs, they play business.
Yeah, I think the Saints just might have the Tampa Bay Bucs number. If I'm Tampa Bay, we can't sleep on Tampa Bay either because I still remember them absolutely destroying Green Bay. We got you can't no team is as bad as their last game. So we just gotta keep everything respected, and that's where I'm coming from with the Saints. That win on Sunday is not what I've been seeing all year or even the past couple years from the Saints. So I just think they're going to naturally let down, but they put themselves in a great position to win the NFC South, beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers twice. I can't overstate that enough. That was 2 huge wins for them. 2 huge wins for them. They should be feeling good about themselves. It really was an ass whooping of great proportions, if you ask me. They did good on Sunday.
I heard you. Any more money tips you got?
Yes, I put the money card in for Arizona. Like I already said earlier in the podcast, I really like them. Mm-hmm. And then I like the Cincinnati Bengals getting 7.
The Who
Day Cincinnati Bengals. You heard me right. I got them plus 7.5 over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow. The Steelers undefeated, Bengals, that offensive line is bad as a compliment. The weapon. What's making you see it? Are you in the Joe Burrow?
I am in the Joe Burrow Kool-Aid. He just does what he has to do with, they have a great receiving core. The Bengals actually do have a good receiving core. Yeah. They got Tyler Boyd, they got T. Higgins. AJ Green really hasn't been doing anything, but Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are 2 great receivers. And they chuck that ball. Joe Mixon's been hurt, so they really just have been one-dimensional in having the pass. But they have been carving people up, and Joe Burrow has looked good doing it. the Steelers tend to play down to their competition, just like they did last week against the Cowboys. It's a tough divisional matchup, and 7.5 points is a lot for that. And I think the Bengals can definitely cover that spread. I don't see them winning the game, but it's going to be closer than a lot of people are thinking, that the public might think it would be if they haven't been following the Cincinnati Bengals all season.
You know, a lot of analysts talk about how well the Steelers draft wide receivers, but now just thinking about it, especially the early 2000s to now, when the Bengals are good, the Bengals typically always have a good wide receiver core, like the Chad Johnsons and the TJ Hoots. Like they always have a good wide receiver.
Yeah, the Bengals are not the Browns in Ohio. Like the Browns are just complete other trash. Here's what the Bengals do. The Bengals love to give you just a little bit of hope. Just that little bit of hope. They got a nice team going, all those teams with Andy Dalton. And then they'll fuck it up in the playoffs or just spectacularly lose it. They give me kind of a Cowboys type of feel, but they can back in their heyday, back in early 2000s, mid 2010s with Carson Palmer, then later on Andy Dalton, like they were a tough out and they were a decent team. And the common denominator there was they always had great receivers. Even the Andy Dalton teams had AJ Green and Marlon Jones Jr. back in the day. So yeah, when Cincinnati is typically good, they have a good receiving core to go along with it.
Any more?
That's it. If I do well this week with these games, I might put my money on Baltimore. But we got to see how these four go. We got to see how these four go first.
Okay. With that being said, let's go into it's the midseason MVP and Rookie of the Year. We're going to start with the midseason Rookie of the Year, and the way that you were just speaking so glowingly about him, I think you are going the Joe Burrow route for the Rookie.
Yes, I am. It's just the stuff that he has to overcome. No line, no running back, defense so. And he gets the job done. I mean, they're 2-5-1. I mean, not a great record, but hey, they're getting better every week, and the AFC needs to watch out for Joe Burrow in the future.
Yeah, agreed. And I agree with you. It's just I am going Justin Herbert. It's just maybe because I've seen him more on the primetime games. I saw him against the Buccaneers, going toe-to-toe with Tom Brady. I saw him in the Monday night game, going toe-to-toe against Drew Brees, which he should have won that
Absolutely.
game. Field goal kicker didn't miss. And then, our Byron, I would have watched it in person. I would have had to drive Byron to the hospital because he would have had a heart attack at the same to the Chargers on that. But I just see this guy competing, and a lot of analysts, they got it wrong on this Herbert guy, man. He can play. I don't like the way he got the starting job, though, with the doctor who should be banned from all medicine, messing up Tyrod Taylor. But Herbert, and there are some other rookies, too, that we didn't talk, like obviously Jefferson from the Vikings, but he's a wide receiver, so he won't win the award. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. There's some good rookies.
Yeah, I just want to go like the AFC, the quarterbacks in the AFC. They have a bright future. Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. They are going to be stars. You still have Patrick Mahomes, is only 25. They still have Lamar Jackson. AFC is going to be real. Deshaun Watson. AFC is going to be real competitive the next 4 to 5 years with these quarterbacks. But yes, I do like Justin Herbert a lot too. I think I got to give Joe Burrow the slight edge because he was starting at the beginning of the season. But the story of Justin Herbert starting, tragic for Tyrod Taylor, but hey, he went to that game with no experience and was lighting up. He's a gamer. I do like Justin Herbert too. He can ball too. And then the Chargers are just, I feel like the Chargers are going to bring him down a little bit, but if there's anyone that can try to bring the Chargers up, stop them from losing all these close games that always come down the wire, it might be Justin Herbert.
And, I mean, you brought up the two quarterbacks, but we'd be terrible not to mention Miami's coming. Tua is coming. That first game, the defense carried them, but after watching that second, they're
yes,
coming,
they
man.
are. I mean, I don't think he's going. Actually, Tua is definitely live for Rookie of the Year. they might be a playoff team. I don't know how these voters might look at that because he's the only one that could be a playoff quarterback. So we just gotta wait and see.
I think it's crazy too because with the magical season that Burrow had that got him from basically he was just going to be an accountant at like Huntington to being the number one pick off of one season. But it's crazy that if Tua didn't get hurt, I mean, number one pick would have been
it's wild, but the way he played, he would have been the 2 pick. Who drafted 2? Where he would have been if he wasn't Cincinnati.
Now 2 was Washington,
so
they took Chase Young.
He would have been the Washington football team. I'm sure doing the same thing, chucking it to Terry McLaurin. So
yeah, I mean, because that Miami team, like I know you have high praise for their head coaches. They could play. They got some people, and they got a lot of picks.
They have Houston's pick. They're looking to get a top 10 pick, so they probably going to add maybe another weapon, maybe another defensive player, probably some edge rusher that I don't know about in college football yet. So yeah, the Dolphins are coming. They are definitely coming. Mike Flores is the exact opposite of Matt Patricia up in Detroit. He was somehow able to bring the New England way down to Miami, and it's just working wonders for them. I really like that team. They're looking good.
I don't even know.
Yeah, he's probably going to get canned soon. And just so you guys know, Matt Patricia got that job after Jim Caldwell, a good black man coach. They went to the playoffs that year. That year he got fired. He got fired after a playoff season. So yeah, Matt Patricia is on the list. On the list for Adam Gase. They need to go.
I think it's also because the NFL is all about the trends. Like that's when everyone was hiring like the Patriot assistants. And then everyone now saw Scott McVay's success. So then everyone went to the good-looking, young offensive coordinator type thing for the coach. And then Bill won the Super Bowl. Everyone's back to doing defense. NFL is just a bunch. It's almost like high school trends.
They are doing, but whatever the cool kids are doing, that's what the bomb in the NFL is trying to be like. It is funny.
Which is. So with mid-season MVP, a lot of people had Russell Wilson at number 1 until last Sunday with the shellacking that they took from Buffalo. So, Justin, what I want you to do on this one is go count down from 3, 2, 1. So give your third, second, and then who you think is MVP.
Let's see. Number 3, I think I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers. We did talk about Kyler Murray.
Okay.
If Kyler Murray gets to win this week, I think I'm going to have him over Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, I really like Aaron Rodgers. He's been doing great. Second, I will have to say Russell Wilson. He's been on a historic pace before the last hiccups of the past couple of weeks. And then number 1, I have to take the reigning Super Bowl MVP right now, Patrick Mahomes, the man. Yes, the man's 8-1, 67% completion percentage, 2,687 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, 1 pick. For comparison with Russell Wilson has 28 touchdowns and 8 picks. So he's playing mistake-free football. The team is on fire. He does have a better defense and supporting cast, I would say, but Patrick Mahomes is the league MVP at the moment right now.
Okay. Since you mentioned him, I will go opposite. I will go number 3, Kyler Murray, just because with Aaron Rodgers, it's sad because it's almost the LeBron top tie fatigue where you just expect these things to happen. But Kyler, me personally, I didn't expect them sniffing the playoffs, let alone sniffing a division title in his year 2. And I didn't think Cliff Kingsbury deserved the job because he wasn't even good in college, but here we are. So I would put him in number 3. Number 2 is the same, Russell Wilson, historic pace. Let Russ cook. He just traded.
Get your money, young man. Let's get it.
So he's getting that money. I'm pretty sure he's fine with that contract, and it helps that also Sierra's his wife. So money's going well for them. And number 1, I agree. It is Patrick Mahomes. I've been watching all the games this year, and with the Chiefs, I almost have not paid attention to them because I just expect them to win every game. just because they have Patrick Mahomes. And then when you really look at his stats this year, and you're just like, whoa, only one pick? Really? And right now, I just feel like he is the MVP. Me personally, I do want Russell Wilson to win. I think he needs that trophy, at least get some votes. Now, if the Cardinals somehow win the division and win the NFC and get the number one seed,
Kyler Murray's the MVP. What's his giving the award if he does that? Like,
yes, I'm almost to the point. If the Cardinals get a top 2 seed, at least 2, he has to be at least second place or first.
Yeah, I mean,
MVP.
yeah, and it's a regular season award. So you saw what Lamar Jackson did last year. He went to the playoffs and was one and done. So if he does, if they somehow sniff out a number 1 seed in the NFC, you have Kyler Murray's MVP, and I don't think it'll be close. I already said earlier in the podcast, his pace is better than Lamar Jackson's 2019 season. So it's pretty easy to me at that point, don't you think?
Oh, no, as soon as you said that, that's when it really clicked that this guy, he could win MVP if he's already ahead of what Lamar did in MVP last year. And we still don't know if it was unanimous. I know he won by a well margin. So if he will, like that, that's wild. And this is year 2 for Kyler, too. You gave him one weapon in DeAndre Hopkins, got him a new weapon, and look what he's doing. Like, top 2 seed in the NFC, Kyler Murray wins MVP. Right now, it's Patrick Mahomes, hoping Russell Wilson wins. That is just me. Justin, man, we reached the end. We are up. Wait, because we didn't get to talk about it. I just want to ask you, because you're the football aficionado, how come nothing ever happens at NFL trade deadline?
I don't know. I want to say it's because of COVID, but I mean, nothing happened. No one did anything really of note. I really thought Green Bay was going to get a receiver. Yeah, it's just a little mind blowing to me. But Green Bay does have Alan Lazard coming back. That was their number 2 receiver before. He had a rib injury, I believe. So I think that's going to help him. So Devontae Adams has a little bit of help. So I think that's why they didn't really make a move. But yeah, nothing really happened other than like Carlos Dunlap going to Seattle, which hasn't really helped too much yet, and Unique Ngakoue getting traded to the Ravens. It was really quiet.
Just nothing happened. I was expecting some big things. We were even ready to do an emergency episode if need be, if a contender got a piece they needed to put them over the top.
Yeah, we'll say the trade deadline stuff for the NBA. I might make a special appearance on that contract because I love trade deadline in the NBA. That shit is fun.
Oh, don't let me get started.
Oh, man.
Okay, I'm trying to have
your Houston Rockets are imploding. Man. Evan might have to let me hop on one of those NBA podcasts just so I can be a fly in the room and hear you guys go.
I mean, I got to get back on with him, man, because everyone else is like, oh, okay, everyone's too weak. That man just disappears and then shoots up. I'm like,
shit, the season starts next month. Like,
bro, I tell you, it is neither here nor there. Justin, do you got anything else you want to say to the listeners?
Yeah, keep supporting us. Oh, talking about the NBA has got me excited. I cannot wait for our NBA content that's going to be up in the winter. We're going to get Evan on there. I might have to jump on there if he ain't going to be consistent. So, yeah, just look out for all our content that we keep doing, and we're going to keep grinding for you, keep producing content for y'all.
And I mean, I think as people have listed with me how I have my segments about how much I hate Lana. If you think I hate Lana, wait till you talk about
Oh, man, that's going to be a good one. It's going to be fun.
I hate them this much. But as Justin said, yeah, thank you guys for listening to our podcast. I know last week we had some big events, so we had to only have one podcast out. But we're back. We're going to be having the episodes come out. I already know Justin already has one in his inbox, and then he's obviously going to have this one at the time at the end of recording. And, you know, we did take a break from the NFL, but we're back. I already have some ideas for our next episode since you brought up Devontae Adams and a conversation that me and you have had. I think our next podcast episode, we need to put some time for the top 5 wide receivers.
Absolutely, because the league just has some great wide receivers right now, and there's some guys who I think don't get a lot of credit. And I want to give him credit on this podcast. Shit, the mainstream media ain't going to do it. Justin Akindele will absolutely put you on my podcast and get to talking. So, yeah.
So that's definitely a subject that we're definitely going to hit 2 weeks from now because I really have to sit down and look at it because there's some people, as Justin said, who don't get credit and I think are in the top 5, maybe in the top 3 because, and we already mentioned it, Devontae Adams, he doesn't get talked about enough. Don't want to spoil where I have him on my list, but he's going to be on my list.
That's definitely going to be a fun one. I need to start researching that right now.
Mm-hmm. But that is all we have. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the L7C podcast. Thank you, Justin, for being on, talking that good NFL. Remember, rewind, listen to Justin's bets, get those bets out so you can make some money, and then we'll be back giving you that good stuff 2 weeks from now. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.